Is CM Punk quitting AEW after what happened at All-In in London this past Sunday with him and Jack Perry, and both wrestlers got suspended this week? And what's going to be next? CM Punk drama continues to haunt AEW, and we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to do a little bit of review with the All-In card and what I thought came out of those matches. Also, we're going to talk about Bullet Club. There's New Japan, AEW, and New Zealand, uh, New Japan Tanahashi or Tanashami, something like that. That it's going to have Bullet Club Civil War going on. And I will explain that once we start the show. So stay tuned. And we are starting a new episode of Chokeslam Wrestling Report. Welcome back to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report with your host, the Ultimate One from New York City. And I am excited this week to do this podcast because so many things happen this week and whatnot, especially with the big event by AEW and All-In for them breaking the record of the most fans, 81,035. Of course, you had the WWE drones crying, pissed off because AEW was able to do this. Of course, they way of getting trying to get back with WWE was, oh, can they do it in the United States? Doesn't really matter if they done it in the United States. The same thing that happened a couple of years ago when they said that Cody Rhodes and the Bucks were not able to fit 10,000 people in an arena back in 2018. They did it. That was the first All-In. Now, the second All-In in London, they were able to break WrestleMania 32. And of course, you're going to have all these AEW, not AEW, WWE haters, or not haters, AEW haters actually, going to have something to say and whatnot. You know, of course, there's every time something good happens, we are left with something with a shit spot. We could say somebody took a dump right after a great thing happened in wrestling. And we're talking about what happened at 0 Hour All-In on Sunday. Jack Perry versus Hook for the FTW belt. Jack Perry came in the ring or entered the arena in a limo. That limo was used as part of the wrestling match. And just when Hook was laying on top of the I think he was on top of the car, on the top part or the bottom part of the by the hook by the hood area, Jack Perry said, and I quote, "Real glass, cry me a river." Now, most people will be like, "Oh, well, that's no big thing." Me, who I've been reporting all the drama has been going on for a year already, close to a year. September 4th makes it a year that this CM Punk drama has been going on in AEW. That minute I heard this, I already knew Jack Perry was taking a shot at CM Punk. Reason? Because weeks prior to this, Jack Perry had an idea that he wanted to use real glass in a spot with Hook. A lot of wrestlers in the back were trying to tell Hook that it wasn't a good idea. Guess CM Punk happened to be in Collision, and this happened during like I believe it was a Collision backstage or whatever. And CM Punk said it's not a good idea. Apparently, Jack Perry went and on his own at All In and went and said that comment and looked straight at the camera and said, "Real glass, cry me a river." And this set off things that happened after Perry lost the match. which he lost his FTW belt to Hook. Hook got it back. Hopefully they'll retire that belt and whatnot. He went to the back, and there's so many reports, people, so many reports that we don't know what was this. And Brian Alvarez, of course, Alvarez is one. He'll tell you one thing, and then Sean Ross Sapp will tell you another one. And I believe Sean Ross Sapp because Brian Alvarez and they melt to have it out for CM Punk. Now, that's the way I look at it. They give so many false reports. It's not even funny. Okay. Reports that came in was that, and this was a PW Inside reporting that Perry and Punk got suspended. Of course, they both suspended. You know, and there's there's a lot of reports. Supposedly, the first report came in that Jack Perry went to the back, confronted CM Punk, and he bumped into Punk. Punk then punched him in the face. That Miro went online on Twitter and said that did not happen. Not true. Then there was a report that CM Punk was the one who confronted Jack Perry while he was coming to Gorilla and asked him, "Do you have a problem with me?" There was a shoving match, and that CM Punk went and choked him out. Others reported was he put him in a front face lock to stop the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? But now there's more reports on this because now there's a report now saying that Punk confronted Tony Khan before his altercation with Perry. Now, it is now being reported that CM Punk confronted AEW president and CEO Tony Khan in a heated, intense situation. Punk got involved in a backstage altercation with Jack Perry at All-In, which you could get caught up on this link. Of course, there's always links and whatnot. And it's been also being reported but disputed by others that there was an incident involving Punk and Miro as well. I read that they were just joking around. Of course, this is ridiculous. Now, Wade Keller of the PW Tour is reporting that the following: Punk confronted Tony Khan in his locker room in what has been characterized as a heated, intense manner. And at one point, according to the three sources who have heard about the situation, told Khan he quit and Chew.com with harsh paraphrasing. He was also noted that the relationship between Punk and Khan might be getting to the point of beyond repair at this point. House of Wrestling also added that they heard Punk said he felt like he was working in a zoo. Now, House of Wrestling is that's another one of the dirt sheet that was part of last year's Scrum Brawl. It all started with them, Nicholas, whatever his name is, okay, and took off, okay. So PW Tours said, or sources said, that Khan incident happened before the Perry altercation, and I believe he was already mad, and he probably got heated because supposedly there was reports that CM Punk was in the airport. He didn't have no one to pick him up to meet him at the airport, and he got lost. He bought a train ticket, and he was able to get to the arena. He probably was already pissed off as it is. So it's crazy. It is crazy because so many reports going on that you don't know what to believe. So while not explicitly stated, it sounds like the Khan incident was likely prompted by Perry's comment about using real glass during his match. So that would mean if Perry's mid-match comment led to the Khan incident, then the Perry altercation happened after the Khan incident when Punk was already worked up. Punk and Perry are both suspended by AEW, most likely meaning Punk will almost definitely miss out on being on his hometown Chicago of this Sunday's this week's Dynamite Collision and All Out. It was reported earlier that AEW didn't contact Punk directly about his suspension, but he found out through his lawyer instead. So that goes to show you, if he found out through his lawyer, that means that Tony Khan, that this did happen. An altercation or heated discussion between Punk and Khan happened, and Khan was like, "Look, I don't even want to talk to this guy." And reports have also indicated that Samoa Joe played a big part in breaking up the Punk Perry altercation just before he and Punk were set for their match. There have been last minute discussion to change the match order and not have Punk go on first, right after, but obviously things were sorted out, and Punk versus Joe went ahead as planned. But they said they're going to keep posted with further, um, you know, further details if they emerges. You know what I'm saying? So it listen, it's just if you don't tell me this is not crazy, it is not crazy. But again, this whole situation that happened all stems back from you know, it's, and this whole stuff was because of what Hook wanted to do. I mean, not Hook, Perry, Jack Perry wanted to do. You know, it said it's believed that the issue between the two stems from the situation weeks ago where Perry wanted to use real glass for a segment that required glass to be smashed, and Punk advised him not to. Now, we're here talking about all this, right? And we're talking about how CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. But let's be realistic. Jack Perry was the one who initiated this uh problem because he's the one who went straight to the camera and said, "Real glass, cry me a river." Now, these two already had a discussion about the glass situation. And at the end, if you look at it, he went for a suplex on Hook to suplex him on the windshield, and he ended up taking that. Jack Perry was the one who ended up taking the most of it, but both of them were cut. What is the purpose of this? Why is wrestler needs to do crazy stunts to get a reaction? Now, last week I had no other than Mr. Steve Monster Mac, and we spoke about this. I understand some of the wrestlers need that bull or that oh my god, oh shit, holy shit type thing, and you get hyper, but you're putting your body on the line for what? For what? And especially if you got a veteran like CM Punk telling you, no, it's not a good idea. And it's people in the back telling you that it's not a good idea. You're still doing it. You went, you went to work on it for yourself. You didn't care. You don't care about the company. You don't care about your opponent. You don't care about you thinking about you. And I am very surprised that Jack Perry is this type of person because I never saw him like this. I never saw him this type of guy to do such a thing. And it's crazy because at the end of the day, you know, I listen. It just amazes me how you know this whole situation started, and this is listen. This has been going on for almost a year with CM Punk. Okay, and people want to take shots at the elite. This time it wasn't the elite, and even and I know that people are going to be like, oh, but Jack Perry is one of the elite's friend. It doesn't matter. The problem, the way I look at it, one, Jack Perry initiated. If he had a problem for what CM Punk did, he could have took it to the back. They could have talked it out like men. But again, young generation don't want to listen to the elders. They want to do whatever they want. CM Punk is at fault for reacting to this. CM Punk, if you're one of the locker room leaders, your bottom line is okay. You're calling me out. I will deal with you once I finish my match, and we can have a discussion. No, he reacted. Reports said that he choked. Reports said that he punched him. Reports said so many things. And now both of them are suspended for all out. You know what I'm saying? And it's 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 crazy because at the end of the day, you know, these guys are not going to be at all out. You know, and pay-per-views are, you know, pay-per-views are extra money you get. You know what I'm saying? And now none of y'all going to be, especially CM Punk. You're not going to be in Chicago, your home base, where people going to love you. You know what I'm saying? And right now, it looks like he won't be there or whatnot. And here's my thought about this, and I'm going to make it quick. Again, CM Punk is a cancer to AEW. You notice since he got signed, CM Punk has been a problem for AEW. And I don't want to hear that, oh, CM Punk brings ratings, CM Punk does this, CM Punk has been the dancing on the landmine for the last couple of weeks. Okay. The fact that he started some bullcrap I believe it was Collision where he called out Hangman Page. This man has a serious problem. Okay, he has a serious problem. For people to think that he has changed, that he wants to work with everybody, apparently he goes out for himself. He don't care about nobody but himself. Okay, again, I'm not blaming him for this one. I'm blaming him for his reaction. I'm not blaming him for starting it. Okay, but this has been like a constant situation when it comes to him. So we will see what's going to happen. We're going to see if he's going to quit because there's word that he said he was going to quit. So, but he can't quit because he's under contract. And if he tries to quit, Tony Khan is going to take him to court. That's the way things are. Okay. So let's go a little bit on the All-In London and whatnot. The All-In London event was incredible. Um, they started off, of course, we saw the Adam Cole and MJF versus Aussie Open in the 0 hour. Now, do I agree with the ending? Um, Not really, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because once again, Aussie Open is an AEW or Ring of Honor, wherever you want to put them at, and they look like amateurs. Like Brian Daniels said, they look like amateur. When this tag team, at one point, held the IWGP and the New Japan Strong tag team titles at the same time. Okay, and the only reason they didn't have that was because Mark Davis got hurt. This is the same tag team that took FTR last year when FTR was the team to beat with 3 belts around them, took FTR to the limit at Royal Quest 2. For the damn AEW to just go and put tag team titles on MJF and Adam Cole, it wasn't even necessary because you still was gonna get that type of match they got in the main event. You know what I'm saying? So am I happy with the main event? With the 0 hour between the MJF Adam Cole beating Aussie Open for the tag team title? No. Now they're Rampage. They're gonna have a tag team battle royal to see who faces MJF and Adam Cole for All Out. Now, according to Dynamite, we saw that Roderick Strong and the Kingdom confronted Adam Cole in the ring, and it looks like Roderick Strong will now be in the World Championship Eliminator for Grand Slam. If this is what they were planning to do to put Roderick Strong, like this guy who's hurt with the neck, whatever, to make a point and whatnot, and probably put Adam Cole in a situation where MJ is going to try to hurt Roderick Strong, and he's going to go, and then we're going to have another match between these two, probably in Full Gear, where MJ might turn on Adam Cole. We'll see. So that was my thought on that match. The Jack Perry and Hook, like I said, my thoughts and my feedback on that: retire the FTW belt because Hook, the belt don't mean anything. It's not sanctioned by AEW and whatnot. No one really cares for this title, so Hook could retire it. And Hook needs more wrestling moves, that punching, MMA style. I mean, his entrance was cool back in the day. Now it's getting stale. That's my view on that. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. That match again, they made Samoa Joe look weak. Okay, because made him look weak because he got pinned, and I think it was a roll up. I'm not even sure because CM Punk got to beat him, and I knew CM Punk was going to win because the real world champion had his belt with the X on it, defending the belt. So I didn't like that, and I knew Samoa Joe was going to lose that match. Now Samoa Joe moves on, and he's going to fight Shane Taylor, which is going to be a match that was looking forward to for a long, long time. So this is going to be something I'm really, really looking for. Shane Taylor versus Samoa Joe. But now CM Punk is now suspended as I started this show. Where he goes from here, we don't know. He may never come back. What's to know? The Elite versus Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita. This match was pretty good and whatnot. The surprising part and I probably should have known this was gonna happen. Kenny Omega got pinned by Takeshita. This sets up the match between Takeshita and Kenny Omega for All Out, which was already planned, already in it. So that's it was amazing that actually Kenny Omega got pinned by Takeshita, which I feel that it was a good move because Takeshita came up when Omega was in DDT. So that match, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good match. I can't complain about it. The FTR versus the Young Bucks, another classic between these two tag teams. I just felt that the Young Bucks should have shook the FTR's hand after they lost. This match was pretty good. But now they're all going to team up together, FTR and the Young Bucks, and they're going to face Bullet Club Gold coming up for All Out on Sunday. So, I mean, I guess that was the setup, which leads me to believe that, you know, the Young Bucks are willing to work with FTR, but they're not willing to work with CM Punk. What that tells you, you know what I'm saying? The Stadium Stampede. This because I was looking forward to, like, how are they going to do this when the last two Stadium Stampede, they had done it in Jacksonville, Florida, in the Daily Place, and Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium, and there's been nobody, there's no one there. Well, they pulled it off. It was a good match. Crazy with Moxley letting Penta stab bunch of stickers in the middle of his cranium, which he did back in July in New Japan Wrestling with Desperado. Um, but this was a crazy match. I mean, bar wires, you name it, tables. My fear was that Santana would get hurt again in this type of match. What a way to return though, LAX, but or Proud and Powerful. That's what they call it now. But the team of best friends, Eddie Kingston and Penta, ended up winning the match. The thing that bugged me out was when Penta was taken out by a power driver given by Santana on him, and he was taken out. He came back with the red suit when he already had the black suit. So Penta, Cero Miedo or whatever they call it, or Scudo, whatever they call it, came out in red. And the ladder broke at one point when they were going up to like ladder. He was going to do something, and the ladder broke. It was just crazy. It was a crazy match. Of course, Orange Cassidy ended up using his tape from his fist, pulled some type of glue on it, put a bunch of glass, and knocked out Castelloni, Claudio, and knocked him out with the orange punch. And he hit him like 2 or 3 times before he hit him with the glass. And Orange Cassidy ended up pinning Claudio. I was surprised I did not see anything online with people going off, going crazy that Orange Cassidy pinned the Ring of Honor World Champion. This sets up now with Orange Cassidy to face John Moxley at All Out for the AEW International title. So that's going to be on the line coming up this Sunday. The Saraya versus Britt Baker, uh, Hiroki Shida, and Tony Storm. This match was pretty good for the women. For a four-way, it was pretty good. It was very dramatic. It was had drama on it. I mean, at one point, Tony Storm punched Saraya mom by mistake. I think they tried to hit, I think, Sheeta. That led off to, it looks like the Outcast may be broken up, but we're going to find out next week because they're going to team up and whatnot. Uh, and Saraya ends up winning the AEW Women's World title, which pretty much I took it as Tony Khan taking a shot at WWE, saying, "Look, you guys didn't let her wrestle. She didn't wrestle for a while. Look, she's a world champion over here." Because I mean, that's the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying? But Saraya deserved it anyway. It was good. I was rooting for her, believe me or not. Even though I wanted Sheeta to hold the belt, but I knew that the only reason they gave Sheeta the belt to begin with was because Sheeta wanted the belt with no fans back in the pandemic era. So I figured they did the same thing. The WWE should have done that for Drew McIntyre, but they didn't do that. So they haven't done that yet. What else here? We got the coffin match. Sting. Sting at 60 plus years old, still doing crazy bumps and whatnot. And this match was pretty good. But the question is Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne came out only to get caught by Luchasaurus, and he ended up pretty much he pretty much ended up getting knocked out at one point and be taken by Luchasaurus. Now, my thing is at All Out, we're gonna have Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin. Is Nick Wayne turning on Darby? I will not be surprised about that. I could see it happening and costing Darby his title, and those two go at it. So that's something to watch. So, but at the end in the coffin match, we saw Swerve get pretty much uh, taken and put in the coffin. He was the one who got caught. So Sting and Darby wins that match again. Mr. Sting still amazes me after all this year, and I've been following Sting since 1987, 86 or 87, something like that. Here we are at 2023, and this man's still doing crazy bumps, or not. So unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? It's just unbelievable. Jericho versus Osprey. This lived up to the hype. Of course, this leaves now to maybe Sammy Guevara being the last member of the JAS. Turns out going to turn on Jericho because when Jericho lost to Osprey, um, uh, Sammy Guevara tried to console him, and he pushed Sammy Guevara away. Now on Dynamite, he ended up talking to Jericho, and they both started taking shots at each other, whatever. And now it looks like the sex gods are going to be teaming up to go after the FTR AEW belts. So that's looks like that's going to be something to watch. But I still see Mister Sammy Guevara or Jericho turning on Sammy Guevara. So I mean, it can happen, but we will see. We will see what happens. The Acclaim ended up being House of Black, uh, being there for the trios title. It's the first time in many many years that Billy Gunn actually has a world title around him. And as you saw at Dynamite, now the belts are no longer again gold because they came in gold. Uh, Malachi Black and the House of Black had it like a silver color, black, like eerie kind of color. But the gold belts are now gold with pink straps because the Acclaim has them. So I mean, where they're gonna go with this, I don't know. But I know in All Out, I think it's either All Out or Collision. They're gonna defend those belts and whatnot. So not really much to talk about there. Um, the of course the main event was of course Adam Cole versus MJF, and it looks like again, like I said, it looks like there's going to be another betrayal. And trust me, there was a lot of chances where we could have saw betrayal. Roderick Strong showed up at the ring and kept telling Adam Cole hit MJF with the belt. He chose not to. This was a back and forth match. At one point, oh man, Adam Cole went and either he suplex or he did some move on MJF that he landed on it was on top of the steel steps, and he landed on the shoulder or the edge of the steps. It was just bad, and he was just like he MJF was hurt, but I was like he didn't see him this week and whatnot. Uh, it was crazy. It was a crazy match, but MJF ended up pinning. At one point, they both of them got pinned at the same time, and it ended. I'm like, there's no freaking way they're gonna end this match like this, or else, oh, hell's gonna break loose and all in. People will riot. And MJF was like, no, we're not gonna do a 5 minute. We're gonna go on to there's a winner, and they ended up finishing it up. It was a pretty good match. So overall, All In was pretty good to me. And you may not agree with me, but I give it a 10. It was that good. It was that good, and it was that, and I was happy. I was happy that AEW was able to succeed, and I knew that after this show, I was going to see all kind of rhetoric. I was going to see all the stupidity from these fans who hating they can't do it in the United States. It doesn't matter if they did it in the United States. This was the same thing they were told. Again, I'm going to say it. They said Cody Rhodes and the Bucks were not going to be able to fill a 10,000 arena seat, 10,000 seat arena, and they did it. And now they were like, oh, they're not going to sell out Wembley, and they sold out. Not sold out, but they put 80,000, 81,000 at that. The people are upset, and people will come out of nowhere and say, oh, but WrestleMania 40 has 90,000. That's combined of 2 days. That means 45,000. Okay, don't get it twisted. Then it's not happening. Okay, it's not happening. Okay, because the same thing with the Pontiac Silverdome. They claimed that it was 100,000. It came out. It was only 90. Was it 91, 97, something like that? At the Pontiac Silverdome, that don't even exist no more. So that's what the Detroit Lions used to play at. See. Now let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Uh, Things that are happening with Bullet Club. Now, I ran into this video from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it had David Finlay on it and his War Dogs and whatnot. And if you guys haven't noticed, that Bullet Club has a new logo, and it says Bullet Club War Dogs, and it has the big dog in the middle with the skull coming out of the dog's mouth and whatnot, which is pretty good, which is pretty nice. But it also said, David Finlay said that he keeps his friends close and his enemy closers, which means it's House of Torture. House of Torture is a subdivision for Bullet Club in Japan. But Evil and David Finlay went at it at the G1 climax. And you think David Finlay did not hesitate to use dirty tactics? He ended up hitting Evil with the belt to pin him because they were in the same bracket and whatnot. So now I was questioning, like, okay, so what's gonna happen? Anyway, so remember that part. The House of Torture and Bullet Club War Dogs in New Japan. Now, remember, back in February, when Jay White lost to Hikuleo, he was barred from New Japan. He lost to Loser League Town, New Japan. Then he lost to Eddie Kingston in New Japan Strong, making him leave New Japan. He ended up going to AEW. But when he came to AEW, he had Juice Robinson with him, and they called themselves the Bullet Club Go, the Bang Bang Gang. He ended up putting in the Gun Club in it. So and it's working. So my question was, okay, so we have the Bullet Club War Dogs, which is Gabriel Kidd, Alex Coughlin, Clark Connors, and Maloney. Right. So you got those guys. So what's going to happen now with Bullet Club Gold? Because JY said that's the elite group. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, wondering. But this video that got popped up by New Japan also shows Bad Luck Fale. Bad Luck Fale has not been seen in New Japan for God knows since last year. Okay, and I was wondering, did he retire? Did he left? No. So there's this group in New Zealand. It's called New Japan Tamahashi. Something to that effect. I might have said it wrong in the beginning, but I think it's Tamahashi. I'm going to post the link to that video on my description so you guys can check it out. But he has his own group. His group is called Rogue Army, but it's still part of Bullet Club. He is pretty much saying or threatening to come to New Japan and take over New Japan. So we got those three groups, and or actually four groups. You got House of Torture, Rogue, the Rogue Army, Bullet Club War Dogs, Bullet Club Go. But then there's another group. They are not known as Bullet Club, but they were part of Bullet Club, which is the Guerrillas of Destiny, Hikuleo, and Phantasmo. And Phantasmo and whatnot was part of Bullet Club, but he got kicked out right after David Finlay went and started beating on Tamatonga when Tamatonga lost his never open weight title. So now he's part of that group or whatnot. Now the question is, where does Kenta stand? It looks like Kenta stood with David Finlay and the War Dogs and whatnot. And David Finlay already knowing that now you have Phantasmo joining the Tongans, which is Hikuleo, the Guerrillas of Destiny. So he's already calling for the head of Tamatonga. He said, "I'm gonna make sure that Tamatonga never walks." So this is a war that's about to happen. That includes AEW because David Finlay said actually a tweet They said anyone from New Japan, AEW, New Zealand, who is wearing Bullet Club shirt, you're a cosplayer. So pretty much he's trying to say that you're not real Bullet Club. My Bullet Club is the real Bullet Club. That's pretty much he's saying. This is getting very exciting because now Tony Khan mentioned that October, I think it's October 1st or October 2nd, there's going to be a show in Seattle, okay, which is going to be the anniversary show or the 1 year anniversary of the death of Antonio Inoki. So most likely New Japan wrestlers are going to be there. Now, Bullet Club War Dog has been already in the United States. In case you guys don't know, they were at the I believe they were in the multiverse for Impact. It was Bullet Club War Dog against the world. So that already happened. So they already been here. So it makes you think these guys are not going to show up at AEW, especially with AEW joining, working relationship with New Japan. This is what I said that CM Punk is not needed in AEW. A lot of people are like, oh, but he brings rating. He's not bringing shit because Collision right now, the most they doing is a 400,000, 500,000. Okay. And CM Punk has not been in no good storyline yet. Okay. They are dragging it. Especially they're dragging that storyline about the real world champion. Is that really worth it? Because that means that he's going to keep beating everybody until he gets to MJF. I mean, let me know what you guys think because I mean, again, this Bullet Club thing is something to watch. Okay, and in case I haven't been able to talk about, but New Japan right now, New Japan. I watched the G1 climax, even though Naito won it. I still asking myself why, but then I figured, well, Sonata, who's been here in the United States, also in Impact, uh, left Lij. So Naito's gonna go try to take the belt away from him at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't like the idea of Naito winning the title again and beating Sonata for it. Even though Sonata, he has not been that world champion that you be like, watch him, he's real good. He's getting. I don't think it's. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But Naito's time is running out, and now he always wanted to say, I want to win the title at Wrestle Kingdom, become world champion at the Tokyo Dome, and that's his chance. That's what's gonna happen. But at the expense of Sonata, I don't know. I'm not too happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Even though Sonata, again, I was big. I'm a big fan of Sonata. I was been ever since he joined Lij. I always felt he should have won the world title sooner than all these years. He finally got it, but they put in Naito already in his place, which pretty much he beat Naito at the New Japan Cup to go and win the cup and get a shot at Okada to win the belt. So I don't know what New Japan is doing, but that's besides the point. I like New Japan stuff because they do real good shows. But they are right. If you guys have not followed New Japan or do follow them, notice they got a lot of young wrestlers. They're about to make this change. Now, the only thing that I don't like, and what I heard a couple of weeks ago was that Will Ospreay said that his contract is almost over and whatnot at 2024. I still think that they should put New Japan on the back of Ospreay so he could carry it. But it looks like they don't have the confidence on Will Ospreay. And Will Ospreay, think about it. Will Ospreay has beaten 3 wrestling superstars, 3 wrestling legends. These guys are going to be Hall of Famer in the future. He has beaten Okada, Kenny Omega, and Chris Jericho. Think about that. In less than 3 months, he has beaten all those 3 guys. Yet New Japan don't have the confidence in him. But we will see coming up next couple of months. He's going to be a free agent. You know what I'm saying? They already got Aussie Open here. Now he's going to leave the rest of the United Empire. Great O'Con says already he's not done. He doesn't want to come to AEW. What about Jeff Cobb? He's already signed with AEW, but they could come from New Japan to AEW. This is, you know what I'm saying? Right now, I am very excited what's going on. And again, this CM Punk drama, I don't give a rat's ass about it. I don't care what anybody says because this showed me again when it comes to dirt sheet, when it comes to these reports, when it comes to Dane Meltzer, when it comes to Brian Alvarez, when it comes to all these thirsty PWI Torch and all this, they have 20,000 different reports. You do not know what to believe. So I ain't gonna enjoy the wrestling. That's all I give a rat's ass about. You know what I'm saying? If the shit is something going on wrong, I will be talking about it. Simple as that. And I'm saying this because Sunday night I got on Instagram and I talked about at that time we didn't have a lot of reports about the Jack Perry and CM Punk situation. And somebody had the nerve and the audacity to get on my Instagram and say, why am I bringing negativity on a day I'm supposed to celebrate a great event? And that really pissed me off because at the end of the day, the person who was saying this doesn't, and I know this for a fact, does not support my podcast. Does not. It doesn't. He's the same guy who I had issues with before in the past and whatnot. And I'm like, dude, why are you even in my damn page? Why are you even in my Instagram? Why are you looking what I'm writing? You don't like what I put? Don't look at it. Okay? That's what I'm here for. There's a problem, there's a report, I'm going to talk about it. That's what my podcast is all about. You, in other words, are WWE Mark. You're going to talk about how great WWE is, regardless of the bullcrap they put on 95% of the time. You're going to make sure that it doesn't look bad. This person knows who I'm talking about, okay? Because they're in the network. Oh, yes, I'm going to shout you out. You're in the same network that I am, okay? All right, and you're from the UK. So, you know what? Like I said, you don't like seeing my podcast, you don't like what I say on my live feeds, don't come to my Instagram. Simple as that. You know, you don't support the podcast. If you're not supporting the podcast, you shouldn't be saying jack. Simple as that. But anyway, I digress. So that is it for me this week. I thank for those who are supporting the podcast. Again, if you guys want to check me out on my stuff, on my on my stuff as far as podcast stores or that. First of all, the podcast store, TCWR dot veryimpressive.com. Again, that's TCWR dot veryimpressive.com. That is my podcast store. You guys can check out my hats, my shirts, and my sweater. Now that fall is coming around, you can check out the hoodies I got there and whatnot. If you want to follow me on any social media platform, you can check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Check me out there and check the latest stuff that I put up, especially on Twitter. I'm always on Twitter or X, as everybody want to call it, whatever. Just check it out, and I'm there. Check out my YouTube channel, of course. The YouTube channel, very important to me. Check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell for new uploads. Hit that thumbs up. That will help my channel greatly, and I appreciate it. Again, I appreciate everybody who even comes to check out the podcast on YouTube and even attempts to look what I bring and whatnot. But like this is one of the reasons, I'm going to end this with this. This is one of the reasons why I like working with one podcast particular, and that's my boy Jay Santee and the Turnbuckle Tabloid. Now, don't get me wrong, does not mean that I am not willing to come to another podcast and whatnot and share my thoughts and talk about anything. But when it comes to wrestling and you come to my Instagram and try to play me, this is why I run solo. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the Turnbuckle Tabloid, I always love these guys. These are my brothers. These guys support me no matter what. I could call the guy anytime and ask him for advice, and he will give me an advice and get it over with. So, but again, this is what I'm saying. I love my supporters. Those who support me, I know who you are. So, again, until then, guys, be safe. I will be seeing you next weekend with more wrestling reports. Chokeslam Wrestling Report will be back with more news, all kinds of stuff. And I'll see you guys soon. Top guy.